Shadows of Alliance, Iran and Israel, a history of shifting relations. In every conflict that spans generations, there is always a question that refuses to fade. How did it begin? But history rarely offers a single beginning. Instead, it offers layers of memory, politics, survival, and shifting alliances. To understand the modern relationship between Iran and Israel, we must look beyond headlines and beyond slogans. We must step into a story that stretches across empires, revolutions, and the silent decisions of states. Long before modern political borders were drawn, the lands of Persia and the Levant existed as parts of vast empires. The Persian Empire, one of history's most influential civilizations, ruled across continents. And within historical records, there are moments of interaction between Persian rulers and Jewish communities. These moments are often remembered not as political alliances, but as historical intersections shaped by empire rather than ideology. One of the most frequently referenced figures in this shared historical narrative is Cyrus the Great. In ancient accounts, his policies allowed exiled communities to return to their homelands and rebuild. Over time, this moment became symbolic in historical memory, not as modern diplomacy, but as an early example of imperial governance, intersecting with cultural identity. Centuries passed, empires rose and fell, and for much of history, Persia, later Iran, and Jewish populations remained geographically and politically distant. It is only in the modern era that their paths begin to intersect again, in a meaningful geopolitical way. The 20th century would reshape everything. In 1948, the establishment of the State of Israel marked a turning point in Middle Eastern politics. It triggered regional realignments, conflicts, and new diplomatic realities. For many countries in the region, this moment reshaped foreign policy for decades to come. But Iran's early position was more complex than simple alignment or opposition. During the Pahlavi dynasty, Iran pursued modernization and strategic alignment with Western powers. In this period, Iran did not immediately adopt the same public opposition stance seen in many regional states. Instead, a quiet and pragmatic channel of interaction developed, not fully public, but not entirely hidden either. In the decades that followed, limited cooperation emerged between Iran and Israel in areas such as trade and intelligence coordination. These interactions were shaped not by shared ideology, but by shared strategic interests in a complex regional environment. However, such cooperation always existed under the surface of public regional tension. While Iran maintained this pragmatic approach, the broader Middle East was undergoing repeated cycles of conflict. Wars, alliances, and ideological movements shaped the political climate. And over time, pressure from regional dynamics began to influence Iran's long-term direction. By the late 1970s, internal unrest within Iran began to intensify. Political dissatisfaction, economic pressure, and ideological movements converged. The foundation of the Pahlavi state was beginning to fracture, and with it, Iran's foreign policy trajectory stood on the edge of transformation. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution reshaped the nation's political identity. The monarchy collapsed. A new ideological government emerged, redefining domestic and foreign policy alike. One of the most significant changes was the immediate shift in Iran's diplomatic orientation. Following the revolution, formal diplomatic relations between Iran and Israel were severed. Embassies were closed. Communication channels that once existed quietly were cut. A new era of separation had begun. What had once been limited pragmatic cooperation transformed into complete diplomatic distance. From this point forward, both nations began viewing each other through a strategic lens shaped by security concerns and regional influence. The relationship was no longer direct. It became indirect and layered. As direct relations ended, regional dynamics became more complex. Influence began to flow through alliances, partnerships, and indirect engagements across the region. This era marked the beginning of what analysts often describe as proxy-based geopolitical competition. As decades passed, perception became as important as policy. Media narratives, political messaging, and public opinion began shaping how populations understood regional relationships. The digital age would later amplify this effect exponentially. In the modern era, technology, diplomacy, and security concerns intersect in increasingly complex ways. The relationship between Iran and Israel remains shaped by decades of history, shifting alliances, and evolving regional realities. It is no longer a simple narrative. It is a multi-layered geopolitical structure. But history does not stop here. What we have seen so far is only the foundation. The next chapters reveal deeper layers of conflict, diplomacy, and transformation that continue shaping the present day. As the Cold War shaped global politics, the Middle East became one of its most sensitive theaters. Superpowers extended influence through alliances, military aid, and strategic partnerships. Within this global pressure system, regional actors adjusted their positions carefully, balancing survival, ideology, and external support. Iran and Israel both navigated this environment, though in very different ways. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, alliances in the Middle East were fluid. States aligned not only based on ideology, but also on strategic necessity. Energy resources, security concerns, and regional rivalries created a constantly shifting geopolitical landscape. The Iranian Revolution did not only change internal governance, it fundamentally altered Iran's external orientation. Diplomatic structures collapsed and were replaced with a new ideological framework that redefined alliances and adversaries alike. The regional balance shifted instantly. Post-1979, Iran adopted a foreign policy shaped by revolutionary ideology. This repositioning influenced how it engaged with regional and global actors. Israel, in this new framework, became part of a broader geopolitical opposition narrative. This marked a definitive end to earlier pragmatic relations. The 1980s introduced one of the most devastating conflicts in modern Middle Eastern history, the Iran-Iraq War. This war reshaped regional priorities, alliances, and security strategies. It also intensified indirect geopolitical competition across the region. During this period, survival became the primary focus of state policy. Military strategy, economic resilience, and international diplomacy all converged under wartime pressure. Regional actors adjusted their positions carefully within this unstable environment. Even without formal relations, indirect interactions shaped regional dynamics. Security concerns, intelligence assessments, and external partnerships influenced decision-making across multiple states. The region became a complex web of competing interests. After the Iran-Iraq War ended, reconstruction became a national priority. Economic recovery, infrastructure rebuilding, and political stabilization defined the next phase. However, regional mistrust and strategic competition remained deeply embedded. In the following decades, Iran's nuclear program became a focal point of international diplomacy. It drew global attention, negotiations, and widespread debate. Israel viewed the issue through a security lens, while international actors pursued diplomatic solutions. As tensions grew, economic sanctions became a major tool of international pressure. These measures impacted trade, financial systems, and diplomatic engagement. They also deepened geopolitical divisions across multiple layers of global politics. The early 21st century saw new diplomatic realignments in the Middle East. Some states moved toward normalization with Israel. Others maintained traditional positions shaped by long-standing regional dynamics. The geopolitical map became increasingly fragmented. With the rise of digital media, information itself became a strategic domain. Narratives spread instantly across borders, shaping public perception and political discourse. This introduced a new layer to geopolitical competition. If you're watching this far, you're not just seeing history. You're seeing how history is interpreted, reshaped, and remembered. Subscribe for more deep cinematic documentaries that go beyond headlines and into the structure of global events. Now, let's continue. In the modern era, conflict has expanded beyond physical space. Cyber capabilities, digital infrastructure, and network security have become central to national strategy. This invisible domain has added a new dimension to geopolitical competition. Modern states rely heavily on intelligence analysis and technological surveillance. This includes monitoring regional developments, assessing risks, and preparing strategic responses. The complexity of this system reflects the complexity of the region itself. As alliances continue to evolve, new partnerships and strategic agreements reshape the regional balance. Economic interests, security concerns, and political priorities intersect in increasingly complex ways. The region remains in constant motion. Current tensions cannot be understood in isolation. They are the result of decades of political transformation, historical shifts, and evolving strategic priorities. Each layer builds upon the last. Public understanding of international relations is often shaped by media framing. Different narratives emphasize different aspects of the same events. This creates multiple perspectives on a single geopolitical reality. Despite tensions and competition, the regional system remains balanced through multiple interacting forces. Diplomacy, deterrence, and indirect communication continue to shape outcomes. This balance is constantly evolving. The Middle East today is not the same as it was decades ago. Borders remain, but relationships shift. Policies evolve, and new generations reinterpret historical narratives. Transformation remains the only constant. What we have explored so far is only part of the story. The final layer reveals how modern diplomacy, regional alliances, and global pressures continue to reshape the future. And that story is still unfolding. In the end, history does not offer simple answers. It does not draw clear lines between right and wrong, between ally and adversary, between past and present. Instead, it reveals something far more complex. That relationships between nations are not fixed. They are shaped by leaders, by fears, by decisions made in moments of uncertainty, and by the weight of memory carried across generations. The story of Iran and Israel is not a single narrative of conflict. It is a story of transformation. From distant historical intersections, to quiet cooperation, to ideological separation, to a modern relationship defined by tension, strategy, and perception. But even now, this story is not finished. Because history is not something we only study. It is something that continues. Every day, in real time, new decisions will be made. New alliances will form. New perspectives will emerge. And the future will be shaped not only by what has happened, but by how it is understood. So the question is no longer just, how did this begin? The real question is, where does it go from here? If this story gave you a deeper perspective, consider subscribing for more documentaries that go beyond headlines. Because understanding history is the first step to understanding the world.